and welcome to AppChat. My name is Amanda from the brand marketing team at Poshmark, and you can find me on the app at the Amanda Weiss. And welcome, we are so excited to have you all join us for a very special live stream talking about, you guessed it, the Poshmark app itself. So joining me is the amazing Poshmark product team. So we have Vanessa Wong on the product team. We have John McDonald, our COO, and then we have Annisah, I'm gonna butcher it. Help me out, Annisah. Gianardi.
No, that was good. That was good. That was it.
And she's on the product marketing team. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this special live stream today. You ready to talk about the app and the new features that we rolled out? Yeah, all right. So before we kick it off, let's just kind of go around and do some introductions. Why don't we start with Annisah. Can you just share a little bit about your role at Poshmark?
Yeah, totally. So I've been at Poshmark for about 3 years now, and I work on the product marketing team, and I get to work with John, Vanessa, and their amazing team, day in and day out to launch all of the amazing features for you guys, which is so exciting.
Awesome. Vanessa, would you like to go next?
Yeah, so I'm Vanessa. I lead the core products team at Poshmark. Been at the company for 5 years. I think this week was my 5th anniversary.
Happy Posh-versary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So what my team really does is we help bring the ideas to life. We help build them with design mocks, and we work with the engineering team to execute them.
Sorry, everyone, I was just getting my YouTube set up. And last but not least, John.
Yeah, John McDonald. I've met a few of you. I've been with Poshmark for about 7 years now, coming up on my 7th anniversary. And my role is really to execute things in the company, help everybody in the company get things done. And so one of those areas I spend quite a bit of time on is the product side. It's a passion. And so work very closely with Vanessa and others on the team and Annisah to get things out the door that you guys will delight you guys. Yeah, so.
Amazing. Yes. So just to reiterate, we're so excited to have you all join us. If you guys have any questions about the product for anybody here on the live stream joining me from the Poshmark team, we will do our very, very best to answer them. So let's get started, shall we? Again, just to reiterate, our goal is always to support and empower each and every one of you and the businesses that you all are building. And one major way that the team really does this is by developing and getting new features in each of your hands, which is so exciting. And we definitely will be chatting a lot about the products and the features that we have released over the last few months. But I thought it would be fun to kind of dive in to what it actually takes to get a feature out the door at Poshmark. Because I don't think, and I'm excited, I'm always learning about new things that we're doing within the team. So let's start there. And who better than the three of you to talk about getting a feature out the door, because you guys are the ones that are moving and grooving. So let's start with John. So from the executive level, can you shine some light on how you think about building your roadmap and what happens kind of from the moment that there is an idea?
Yeah, no, and I'll describe it, but I just want to emphasize this is definitely not scientific. It's very fluid. Things change day to day. So, but why don't we start with an idea? And we typically call it a concept at Poshmark. And first off, where do concepts come from? And I think it's a variety of sources. The most obvious and best source is all of you. And we get those in two different ways. One is direct requests. So we're going to talk about copy listing today, 16 photos. Those are a couple of examples where direct requests. But another is we observe what you're doing. So what's fascinating is the amount of innovation that's happening within our Poshers, with what they do. And so when we talk about things like Posh Stories, it was watching, Poshers on YouTube, Poshers on Instagram, really kind of giving us a lot of ideas. Another feature we launched a couple of years ago, Posh Bundles, was absolutely watching Poshers and how they were creating bundles and how they were, talking about those and conversing. And so oftentimes just, watching what you're doing, we can come up with innovations. And then there's internal. So within the team, Manish, our CEO, is an extremely creative generator of concepts. And then a fourth area is really digging into the metrics. And a great example of that was Offer to Likers, was really, looking at our metrics and saying, how do we take advantage of this what we call a funnel of likes that happen, and give you a powerful tool to sell to your likers. So once we've sourced a concept, the other thing I think maybe isn't as obvious outside is how long then we take that concept and we almost chew on it. We debate it, we iterate on it, we refine it. And sometimes that can happen for 4 or 5 years before we can get where we feel. No, it's funny. We surface, we do it with Google Docs a lot of times. And so we have this history. And, of course, we're trying to make the concept as valuable as possible, but we also really want to make it simple and intuitive. And that's really tough to do when you have something very innovative. And then there's technical things on the back end. We want to make it not add too much weight to our app, make the performance of the app work. So it takes quite a while before we get it to, wow, this idea, we've got it. And that's really when we work on what we call a roadmap. And a roadmap is really just about every 3 months, and Vanessa is very involved in this. Manish, some of our tech leaders. And what we do is we schedule different concepts to be developed. And in that process, we try and balance things. So we're trying to balance, we want to make sure we're delivering some seller efficiency and marketing tools. We want to make sure we're delivering on things that improve matching. We want to improve, attracting new Poshers to the platform to buy your items. And then we also want to balance between incremental improvements and innovation, because true innovation can take, a very long time development wise. And so we want to balance what we're, delivering to you to help you out. So I don't know, sorry, that was a little long, but that's kind of the process. Very, very, not very scientific, very fluid, but I think, we try and adapt very quickly.
Great explanation. And we actually had a clarifying question, which I think is a great one. They're asking, is the products on Posh, like on Poshmark, or what, when we're talking about a product, we're talking about the product being the app, right? So just a clarifier there. So great question. Thank you.
Yeah. And then to echo that, a feature is like creating a listing or the buy page or the feed. The features make the product.
Yes. Thank you for that, Vanessa. While we have you there, would you like to go into a little bit more of, how your team helps bring features to life? Yeah.
So once we kind of have the roadmap, and that's kind of a plan of the different products that we're going to release, it's a collaboration between the different teams. We work with the design team, the community team, we work with marketing team, we work with finance sometimes, we work with just all these different teams. And it leads to a lot of conversation and debate and bringing what the best user experience is. We have mocks and prototypes. We talk about them amongst ourselves, we review them. It's a lot of fun. We get pushback from engineering sides. They're like, whoa, this is way too difficult to build. So there's always a negotiation, but it's all about getting the best thing built for you all, making life easier for you guys, getting your products sold, getting your products discovered. And, once we get that going, we build a spec, and there's always, of course, conversations with engineering again. And a lot of you might be wondering, well, why is it built this way? We want to make sure that the goals and features is to make the feature useful and that will benefit you all. And like what John said, it's simple to use. We don't want to make it clunky and difficult and hard for you guys. And, when we launch a product, we test. And what that means is releasing the product to a small group of people. So let's say a percentage of users. So in doing that, we want to observe there's no issues or bugs. And we want to also make sure that it's actually solving the problem that we intended to, that we aim to solve for. So that's what we do before we kind of release it 100%.
Awesome. Annisah, how about you?
Yeah, so on the product marketing side of things, we're working with John and Vanessa's team throughout the entire process. So I'm going to hit on a few key points that we go through. So in the very, very beginning stages, we partner with the brand team to really figure out what are we going to call this feature? How are we going to talk about it? We really want to make the naming for these features intuitive for you guys. That's incredibly important to us. And then, as we get closer to launching a feature, we do a big meeting with all of the marketing teams. So, product marketing is really only one facet of our marketing team. We have content, we have social, we have marketing operations, we have PR. So we bring everyone together, ideally in a room, but we're virtual now. So everyone comes together in one way or another.
This kind of room.
Yeah, this kind of room. And we walk through the product and we talk about how it works and we answer any questions. And then another huge part of those meetings is we just all get really excited. We're doing this for you guys. And I think we all just feel so excited to see how you guys react to it. And then, once we get closer to launch, probably 1 to 2 months out, we work on a marketing strategy and come up kind of with those key benefits. And I think for all of us, we're really stepping and putting ourselves into, we're thinking like a user. We're, trying to put our Posher lens on when we're working through what those benefits are, because we really want it to resonate with you guys and make sure that it speaks to you. And then from there, we, create all the content and then you guys get to see it and it goes on all the various channels that we use. So that's email, that's social media. Those are just a few of them.
And I love what you said is that we like to, put ourselves in the Posher's shoes because, it's always so, and to the point of being excited, when we only have in our, wildest dreams, like how you all are going to use something, and you always cease to amaze us and, just push the envelope and use the features that are created in so many creative ways. So that's like even more exciting is when it's like out into the world. You just never know what's going to happen. You guys are amazing and so creative. So I hope you all learned a little bit about how, a feature is developed at Poshmark, and that to John's point earlier, that, sometimes we have an idea and it doesn't come to fruition, but we come back around years later. So there's definitely a lot of different timelines and things like that when developing features. So thank you all for sharing that. So now that we have the better understanding and we've definitely learned a few things, let's get into some of the actual features that we have released in the last few months that this lovely team, not just these three people, but the greater Poshmark team have blessed us with. And not only will we be talking about the features over the last few months, but some of the enhancements that we've actually made, some of the big innovations, looking at you, Posh Stories. And also we may even get a little sneak peek at something coming in the future. So you ready? Let's get into it. So Poshmark, again, we strive to be an innovative company and we're constantly releasing various new features. But most recently, we've been really focusing on seller tools with an emphasis on listing. So because the more you list gives you more potential to sell. So the first feature we released back in May, which I loved seeing everyone so excited about, it is copy listing. Dun, dun, dun. Who loves copy listing? I feel like everyone loves a copy listing. So let's start with you, Vanessa. Can you share what went into developing this feature?
Yeah, so we know that this is a request that people have been asking for years. We've internally debated a ton. It comes up every couple months. And then we were actually close to doing it one hackathon, but plans changed. But we felt like this was one that we really wanted to get done this time when we're focusing on seller tools. So the product manager, Tresha, shout out to Tresha, she worked with a designer to create a really simple flow. She researched a ton, and got inspiration different ways, which is what we came up with, which we thought was the best solution for you guys. We've been reading all the feedback, and a lot of people might wonder why we decided to use the word copy in the listing. I actually helped contribute to that. I know some of you guys might complain, but I actually think it helps you a lot because you might not know which one to delete, and I think it helps you. So yeah, I hope you guys are all enjoying the feature as much as I am, and it's helping you guys make your sales.
Definitely. I think everyone is in love with it for sure. Annisah, can you kind of walk us through how you copy a listing?
Yeah, totally. So all you have to do is head over to one of your existing listings, tap edit. It's in the upper right-hand corner, I believe. And then scroll down, and at the bottom, you'll see a little button that says copy listing. You tap it, and then what it does is it takes you to a copy of that listing. And for the title, it'll say copy dash whatever the original listing name was. And then from there, you really can make it your own. You can add photos, you can change the title, you can change the description, whatever you need to do, you do. And then you list it, and it's done.
And voila.
Voila.
Listing.
Makes it seem so simple. Vanessa, can you share a little bit, how long did it take to develop copy listing?
This was actually pretty quick, and kudos to engineering for doing this. Yay. So I would say this one was like less than a month. And I think, was it Jonathan's team, John? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it's Jonathan's team. And I think this was one of the reasons we hadn't done it before was we actually felt there was some technical challenges with copying photos over. And but they came up with a really elegant solution. Yeah, so it was very quick.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make a shout out to Jonathan, my BFF in the Edge team. I don't know if he'll watch this, but everyone thank Jonathan for everything he's done, and his team does incredible stuff.
To that point, for those of you that are joining, a lot of people were asking if you're going to be able to rewatch this live stream after the fact, and you definitely will. It'll still be up on our YouTube channel if you're just now joining us.
Actually, Jonathan, and I'd like to point out Vic on his team. So shout out to Vic. I'm going to be making shout outs throughout this.
Shout outs. Amazing. I love it. So again, that was copy listing. So moving on to two more recently released features / seller tools. We have Reposh and Sell Similar. And let's start with Reposh. For all you Poshaholic shoppers like me, you have probably seen this pop up in your purchases tab. It's a one-click way where you can list an item you already previously purchased on Poshmark. So John, I'd like to start with you on this one. Where did the idea come from for Reposh?
Well, let's be clear. Poshers have been reposhing since 2011. I was introduced to this, a fun story, and I'm going to talk about the same woman twice in this call, but I don't know if a lot of you probably know Olivia Tam, who heads our marketplace operations team. So early on, she came into work wearing a sweatshirt, which was a little unusual for her. And I asked her what was the deal, and she had kind of said a little frustrated. She goes, "I sold all my blouses." And so she had gotten bored with her closet, and she, as she would typically do, she basically, reposhed everything on, Poshmark, and she woke up and didn't have anything to wear. It was such a great story for me to kind of get the vibe. And so clearly reposhing has been happening, but I think where this idea, this concept of what we did early this year, there was a lot of discussion in the media, a lot of discussion in a lot of brands around sustainability. And I think it's interesting. We don't talk about sustainability that much at Poshmark because it's so part of us and part of what the whole community does, and it's kind of obvious. But I think what we thought is maybe it isn't that obvious, and maybe that isn't that easy for newer Poshers. And so what we really wanted to do was to make that much more accessible to a new Posher after they've made a purchase, to be able to reposh it and to even name it. By naming it, it's clear that's what you do on Poshmark. And so it's a little bit of education as well. So the concept came up by Annisah, you might've been part of kind of that I know there was kind of a general kind of concept that was swirling from the
Yeah.
product marketing team, and then that, you know, kind of eventually kind of converted into a feature. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's something Courtney has been talking about for a long time and was super excited about. And I think we all were, you know, it's definitely something that's been highly requested, and you can see it all throughout the platform. So it just made so much sense.
Yeah.
Reposh, it's officially the verb, you
I
know.
love the verb. I love
It's
the
the
verb.
verb. Yes, you posh, you reposh.
Absolutely.
Yes. Awesome. So, Vanessa, how similar of a process was copy listing and reposh to develop?
So for
Like that all.
so Reposh is very similar concept. Basically, you're copying bits of the information from the item you bought. So there was just a lot of synergy around that time as we were coming up with all these seller tools. We're like, okay, there's copy listing. We increased our drafts, Reposh. There's all these different things, and yeah, as we were coming up with these ideas, there's a lot of crossover, and it was easier actually for engineering to develop as there's a lot of synergies between the different things. So we're super excited, and you know, for Reposh, yeah, I was part of the team that we were kind of incubating on this topic for a long time. We worked with like finance, marketing, all these different teams, and to come to see this in real life, it's really exciting.
Lots of reposh love and copy listing love coming in the comments. Jonathan got lots of shout outs. So we'll pass along the love from each and every one of you. Someone did bring up
one thing before you move on. I also think Reposh is a great example of we released a feature, but we're gonna iterate on the feature. So more to come on Reposh to make it easier, simpler. You know, I think we've had some feedback from the community. So you know, almost every feature that we release, we try and continue to iterate on and improve. So more to come. I can't tell you exactly, but Vanessa's team has been working on some.
I'm excited to know. I don't, you know, it's a surprise to me too.
To echo what John said, we also look at the data, right? We look at how people are using it. Where are the different paths? So yeah, more to come soon.
So there was a question about photos with Reposh. So that obviously, Annisah, can you share a little bit behind the photos?
Yeah, so with Reposh, and Vanessa and John jump in here if you'd like. So yeah, so with Reposh, essentially we, as of right now, as of today, it doesn't copy over the photos, but it's something we're definitely thinking through as a team, and you know, stay tuned.
Lots of stay tuned, like keep you on your toes, excitement coming. Awesome. Awesome. So, Annisah, obviously we just talked about copy listing, Reposh, and there's one more listing tool that I wanted to shine some light on and was hoping that you could share a little bit about it, which is Sell Similar. Can you kind of walk us through the main differences, which I feel like we kind of got with copy listing and Reposh already, but why are they each so valuable in their own way?
Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of a meaty question. So I want to start off kind of with the goal of all of these features. You know, we're really trying to make listing simpler and faster for you guys. That's the goal, right, of all of this. And so with Sell Similar, really the thought is, you know, I'm browsing on Poshmark. I see a listing that's already sold that's very similar to something sitting in my closet. And all I have to do is tap a banner and bam, you know, most of the information is copied over, you know, like the title, the category, the quantity. And then all I really have to do is, you know, add my images, change the title, maybe add a description, and bam, I'm done. So it's just, for me, I've found the most value in the fact that things I've debated on selling for a while, it just makes it super easy for me to pull the trigger and list. For copy listing, I would say there's a lot of value to it, but one of the biggest pieces is, you know, if you're listing multiple things that are similar, but maybe not the same, or they're slightly different, you can literally do it so fast. You can just, you know, if the color of a t-shirt is different, you can change that and maybe the color in the actual listing details, and bam, it's done. So it's really streamlining everything there. And then Reposh, you know, you said this, Amanda, it's a one-click way to list anything you've bought on Poshmark. So for myself, I was a buyer before a seller, and I think this feature has just totally changed the game. You know, if I'm switching seasons or if I'm just tired of something, I can list it so fast and sell it. And it's just, all of these features just make listing so quick. And, you know, it touches on so many different scenarios that are really great. Also want to give a shout out, since Vanessa's giving shout outs. So I want to give a shout out to Tiffany Marcar, because she worked so hard on Reposh, and, you know, the marketing looked amazing for that. And I just want to give her a huge shout out there.
All the Posh love. I love it. That's awesome. So we're so thrilled that you guys are all loving each and every one of these. Also, just to shine one more, I'm not sure if you may have said this, so apologies if you did, but Sell Similar, it's only on listings that are sold, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you said that, but just to clarify. So makes it even like super easy there. So those are all of the newly released listing focused tools. But like John was saying, we're always iterating and enhancing existing features. And there are two that you probably are pretty familiar with, but just wanted to kind of briefly touch on them because we haven't done an app chat in years. So if you're an OG Posher from a few years ago, you may have seen us do an app chat in this style where we're talking about new features. But since it's been such a long time, just wanted to shine some light on some of the enhancements as well. So those both being increasing the number of photos to 16 photos, which I think everyone can appreciate, but also increasing the number of drafts. So there has been so much excitement around these also. So Annisah, going back to you, can you kind of share, you know, maybe a little bit more about how to create a draft, and then any kind of unique things that you are seeing people use drafts or additional photos for?
Yeah, totally. So to create a draft, you just pop into the app, you tap the camera icon, and then from there you take a photo, start filling in the details, and, you know, if you're running out of time or if you just want to do it later, whatever the situation is, you hit the cancel button in the top left-hand corner. And then from there, you save it as a draft. And to, you know, whenever you're ready, whenever the time feels right, and you want to pop back in and finish it up in list, you head back over to the camera icon, and then you'll see drafts in the upper right-hand corner, and you tap there, and you can see all of your drafts, and you can finish them up in list, and it's great. Yeah, in terms of how I've been seeing people use it, so 16 photos, I mean, this is giving you guys double the opportunity to show off your listing, like show off the items you're listing, highlight their condition, and communicate anything else that you want your potential buyers to know. So it's just giving you so much more real estate, which I think is amazing. We also know that, you know, when you add 4 or more pictures, it increases your chances of making a sale by 70%. So this is just so valuable, and I highly encourage everyone to tap into it. In terms of drafts, I think the real way that I see people using it is, you know, bulk listing. So if you're listing 15 items or 50 items, whatever it may be, you take all of your photos, you can upload all of them and then pop back in later and fill in all the details. Or you can do it, you know, in between things, whatever, like if you're working or taking care of your kids, you can do it while you're doing other things to fill in those details and release them one by one.
Yeah. Anything to add, John or Vanessa?
Perfect.
Amazing. Yeah, I love seeing people utilize drafts for batching their time. Like you were saying, you know, you can always come back to it. So if you do your photography on Monday, you can queue them up and then fill in the details later. And maybe you have 30 complete drafts, and maybe you want to release 2 a day. So it really helps you build that momentum, keep your closet fresh, and people really coming back. So there's you know, seems very, very simple, but 2 really great enhancements that were made. Fantastic. So now that we've gone through some of the listing tools, some of the enhancements, just want to shift gears ever so slightly to talk about some of the innovative ways that we're actually matching people. So, you know, you have your items listed for sale. Now there are 2 new ways Poshmark is actually helping match potential customers to those items, AKA supply and demand. So those are just picked for you and saved search. I feel like that was like such a tongue twister trying to say. Just picked for you and saved search. So, John, for those that aren't familiar with Just Picked for You, can you share what this is and any background on how this is concepted?
Yeah. So maybe first, just in case you're not familiar with it, Just Picked is basically a multiple times during the week we're recommending to you items, newly listed items that we think you might like. And we do that using, in the background, machine learning, data science. And we take your past activity, your past likes, purchases, searches, and we use a machine learning algorithm to recommend items that have been listed in the last 48 hours. And we do that via push and email. It's refreshed daily. So it's just really fun. I get a real kick out of it. And so it's delightful for shoppers, obviously. But I think for a lot of you, it's also a really powerful marketing tool. So what we've been trying to do, and with some other features as well, is as soon as you list an item, how can we get that in front of the right buyers as quickly as possible? And obviously that's a delight for you if you can get a sale that quickly. So that's why this is, we're very excited about it. But I did want to talk a little bit, because this was, as I was saying, some concepts are originated outside, some internally, and this was really a passion project. Vanessa on this call was one, and there was about 4 or 5 other people at Poshmark who were just determined to use machine learning to recommend items, and really passionate. And the difficulty is this is very different than, let's say, an Amazon or some other site, because when you think about it, we have, I don't even know the count now, but it's upwards of almost 100 million listings, 75, 100 million. But we don't necessarily have structured data on listings. So we don't have there's no product catalog or UPC codes. And so when you're recommending that out of that set of listings, it's a little bit more challenging. And so this was a skunkworks project that, again, Vanessa was one of the leaders for it. They worked on it for about 9 months, a lot of internal testing. Everybody at Poshmark at some point, on the Poshmark team was part of the testing, and really came up with, I think, something that's really fabulous. I did want to kind of also bring up a fun story. The internal name for this was Project Olivia. And again, I'm bringing up Olivia Tam. She's getting a lot of exposure here, but you guys know
Olivia is her closet.
No, Olivia is her name now, I think.
Oh, she changed. Oh,
I think she got Olivia. Yeah.
I will always, she's had 3 Poshmark closet names. I always think of her as the second one, but.
Yeah, she's the Uber stylist. So I know, Vanessa, she's recommended a lot of what you wear and your calendar wear. She even recommended a Chanel necklace I gave my wife a couple of Christmases ago. So she is Uber stylist. So what we wanted to do is clone Olivia, and that's what the feature is all about. Vanessa, you were very intimately involved. Anything to add on that?
Well, I think also another thing about Olivia is she knows your size information. She knows your brand preference. She knows your price range preference. She just knows it all. So we wanted to emulate that. And I think we did pretty well. We're still working on evolving it. So yeah, that's kind of the inspiration. It's really fun. So
it's super fun. I got my email recommending the products. I think it was yesterday or the day before. And I'd always just like the element of surprise also. Yeah. I'm like, what am I going to be recommended today? Yeah. And I mean, it was so spot on. It took everything in me not to purchase everything. Shockingly, it was full of statement earrings. And I'm like, shocker. This, I mean, it was so spot on. So I love it as a buyer. So fun. So Vanessa, I know we kind of talked about what goes into how items are shown to you in Just Picked for You, but is there any tips that you can kind of give for a seller to make their items appear a little bit more regularly?
Yeah, I would just say list frequently, right? And when you list, fill out like all the information in that listing. I mean, I know you guys do it all already, but just a reminder, right? Enter that category, enter that subcategory. Subcategory is actually really important. We've seen that in data. Enter size information, get the right brand, put your descriptions in. So the more what we call metadata you have, the possibility of it showing up is even higher. And so list frequently.
Yeah, awesome. You heard it here first, you guys. And then lastly, I wanted to talk a little bit about saved search. So Annisah, can you kind of share with everyone how that works?
Yeah, totally. So I'm going to caveat this one by saying we're currently testing it out. And really, this feature is meant to help you level up how you shop. So essentially, when you're searching for something on Poshmark, I filter by price a lot. I also filter by my size, which is kind of a given. I'll filter by color. I'll filter by condition. So all of those filters that we all use to shop, it essentially saves it. So that way you can pick up right where you left off. So for me, I've been on the hunt for a Neverfull probably for the last year. So I'm super excited for this feature to come out to save all my filters. So that way I can just pop in and check probably 3 or 4 times a day. So
Yes.
yeah.
Anything else to add, Vanessa or John, on saved search?
Well, just to be clear, it's being tested now, so you might not be able to access it in the app, yourself. So it's a small segment of our users, or Poshers.
But I'd also like to echo, this has been a top feature request by all of you guys. So I'm super excited to have it live and get feedback from you all. So please write in. We'd like to hear your thoughts. And yeah, it's being tested and we're continuously making it better.
Absolutely.
And I'm thrilled as a male on Poshmark, in males, how we shop, which is repetitive.
Okay, so I want to.
I am thrilled because I'm going to have 2 or 3 searches, and I will buy all day long exact same things. Yep.
I was just going to say, John, what does your just picked for you look like?
It's funny as it's so what would be my just picked is Ted Baker shirts, and of a certain size and even color. But it's funny. It's the just picked algorithm is hooked on a very similar brand, and so they've been trying. The machine learning is trying to push me into this other brand. So no,
expand
but it's
your
fun.
horizons.
Yeah. What's that?
It's telling you to expand your horizon.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
I think that's also another cool thing about Just Pick for You. It helps suggest new things to discover, and I've actually discovered some pretty cool brands. Like there's this European brand that I started following. So pretty cool. So it's just shopping in a boutique and discovering cool new things.
Yes.
But it's a boutique design for you, which is amazing.
Definitely. Just popping into the comments, seeing we got some Kate. Hi, Kate. She gets her Levi's recommended to her. So on brand. Really lots of funny just picked for you comments. I love it. Glad you're all enjoying it as well. So lastly, I am very excited about this next section of conversation because this is a huge innovative feature. And I think, I've been dreaming of this for a very, very long time. If you haven't guessed, we're talking about Posh stories. Woo! So I'm really excited to talk about Posh stories. So let's just get right into it. Annisah, can you share what Posh stories is?
Yeah, so Posh Stories is a new seller tool that takes poshing beyond your closet and really helps you bring your listings to life through short videos that only last 48 hours. So, I'm so excited about it too, Amanda. It's just seeing all the stories that have come through it's amazing what you guys have already started doing with it.
1000%. So John, can you kind of walk us through why this is such a major deal and why this is so innovative for Poshmark?
Yeah, so this is one where video is not new, and that's why, Amanda, you've been waiting for it. It's video, Insta stories, Snap, TikTok, so many different places. Video is consumption and production is very prevalent. And even video for commerce, e-commerce isn't new. I think a lot of we were drawing inspiration from a lot of these just crazy innovations that are happening in China in particular, South Korea, China, a lot of Asia, with live streaming and just different ways to use video to sell things. But I think what took us quite a long time, and this was one of those where the concept was really a lot of mocks, a lot, the designers would come up, what about this? What about this? And where the obvious place you could have done was to just add video to listings. But what we wanted to create is something that was more, allowed a lot more creativity and a lot more flexibility. And so how do you, on Poshmark, make something that's very lightweight and simple, and yet connect it with selling so that it's something that you really can use for selling, but doing it in a very creative way. And so that was a lot of, and I won't take any of the credit. Vanessa was involved. Actually, Manish was very involved. This was a big passion project for him. But I'm so excited with what's come out. And by the way, it's already iterated. So this is one where, again, we're going to iterate on this and we're going to extend it. And I'm sure, a year from now, it'll be, it'll evolve into something different. But I think the innovation is, how do you get it to be very simple and lightweight and yet very flexible, so that you can really use it as a seller to sell your story, to really tell your story. Yeah.
Absolutely. So kind of leaning into what went into Posh Stories, knowing that it's been iterated and it's been this journey. Vanessa, can you kind of share a little bit of the history, how long the team has been really concepting and developing Posh Stories?
Yeah, we actually started a while back. We started taking the first steps in December of 2018. And I think what really kickstarted it was we knew we wanted to do something in video, and it was kind of staffing the right team. So we got together and had Jack, who's the product manager on that, and a couple of the designers, and we had a outside consultant come help us with it. So that this small team really helped get this project going.
Yeah, it definitely, I'll remember, I wasn't even in probably like the early meetings, but I remember having brainstorms about how we would use something that, we couldn't even in our wildest dreams like fathom what this could really become. And we had so many roundtable discussions about just our use cases, like here I am, I'm always like talking to the camera. And so that I was just like, anything that I can do to like put a Poshmark spin on that, I was just so excited for from the very, very beginning. So it's, like I said, it's a dream that it's here, and it's still rolling out and, in testing. We'll get pretty familiar with saying that for sure. So let's see what's next. So we announced this feature back in, was it April? In April?
April or May.
Yeah, we actually talked about it at Posh Fest last year, and so you can imagine how much work it really went into it. And as we've been saying about testing, John, can you kind of share where we are right now with the feature? Any early insights that you can share?
Yeah, so we actually rolled this out to only about 10% of users when we first launched it, and actually it was in that state for well over a month, maybe a month and a half. And what we were really, and I think Vanessa talked a lot about this, really seeing what the community would do with it. That really was. This was one where we just really didn't know, and so over that time, there was just a huge amount of, downloading, through our back end, downloading those videos and just spending time categorizing them and understanding them and seeing what worked really well. And so there was there's one already, and it might not be super perceptible to you, but we iterated to make, partly to make the listings much more prominent in the video, but also much more easily acceptable. So, accessible. So it's very natural to just tap through to the closet or to the listing. So it just becomes very seamless between video and your listings. And I think there's a few other things to lighten it up and make it more interactive. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Vanessa, but are we at 50%, or have we gone beyond 50%?
We're at 50%, and we hope that everyone will have it maybe in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah. So shout out again to Jack, Michelle, Marie, and I want to also make a shout out to the data team who's been tirelessly helping us with all this data. Den, who's an analyst on Posh Stories, has been working super hard and helping us answer our questions.
Yeah. Yeah. This is one that a lot of analysis has gone into. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like huge cross-functional effort. I mean, I'd like to also add that this is the first time our company has done anything around video. So a lot of like the infrastructure work, shout out to Shilpa, Adrian, Perry, a lot of underlying work that we've never done. So it's amazing what we've done. And what's really cool is I remember in the beginning, some of our engineers is like, Instagram, how do you use Instagram? So now they're like experts, they can create IG stories, they can create Posh stories. They're pros now.
And also just like a funny little like insight into some of the like testing that we did internally. As we're testing features, we have, what's the main app? There's a separate app that we,
Stage.
Yeah, Stage. So we work off of this app, and when we were testing, it was just so funny to see the content that we were all testing with. It was like the keyboard of your computer, or like your dog, or like a Gatorade bottle. And so it was really
there are a lot of pet shots. See, there's a lot of dogs, a lot of cats. I think I did one of my cat. Yeah.
So that was really, really funny just to see like how people were starting to like try to even just test, just to have content up and the functionality. So that was really funny. So Annisah, let's share, how do we actually create a story? Like, where can you find it to see if you have it, and kind of walk us through creating a Posh story?
Yeah, totally. So if you head to your app and you go to the feed and you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see Posh stories. And you'll see your face, you'll see a nice little circle of your face, and there's a plus sign next to it, and you just tap it, and then you can record a video or take a photo. And then basically from there, it's all you. You can customize it however you want. You can tag people, you can tag your PFFs, you can write text. So it's super customizable, which is so exciting. And it just really helps, I said in the beginning, the whole purpose of this is to bring your listings to life. And I think with all the features we've added to it where you can customize, we've really done that. So it's, yeah,
so fun. I'm loving seeing, and I would love to hear from John, Vanessa, Annisah, like any stories that have stood out to you. I am just like loving discovering new people also, and new closets. And I love that I can share other people's stories to my story. I love that interaction, and also I'm just like getting excited to create more.
I love seeing the personalities, right? You see people's closets and listings, but seeing their personalities come to life is just really, really fun. It's like shopping with your friends.
Yeah.
And
really, I think the human side of it is what I appreciate the most, because you get a little bit of that in listings sometimes, especially not for sale listings, but in an about page, but really it brings people to life.
Yeah.
In a pretty amazing way. Yeah. So really, really fun. I totally agree, Vanessa.
Let's see those videos, everyone. Do a little Meet the Posher, right? Let's all introduce ourselves on stories. Make it a thing.
I think we built this feature for Amanda, actually.
Oh, wait till it really gets started.
It should have been Project Amanda. We missed the boat on
yeah, we did.
Project name.
No, but in all honesty, there are a lot of times we were like, well, what would Amanda do? Like, so.
I'm having a ton of fun with it. So I think my first story that I posted, because I just was in this next test segment. So I was so excited that I literally filmed myself dancing. And that was my first Posh story, was me dancing because I was so excited that I have Posh stories.
Why are we not surprised?
I don't know, but there will be more of that.
Amanda, I remember how excited you were, and we were in a meeting and you're like, I just got it. And I was like, oh my gosh, let me go check. And I had it, and we both were like, yes, finally.
So you guys, we're with you. We're also in the test groups. And so we have to be patient as well for features also.
I don't have it yet. So
no way.
I don't have it. So our test system is very fair. You're either in or you're out. It's not like you could just opt in.
Yeah. I think there was a question about that. It's kind of random, right?
It's totally randomized, and that's just to get like fair data and data that we can trust. So
that's awesome. So I hope you all enjoy Posh Stories. I think there will be a lot of fun new things, like John said, coming to it. Is there anything else that you guys want to add? Any future insights that you can kind of share about Posh Stories in the immediate? Top secret?
I mean, I think things I've been hearing, I think Manish has actually gotten some emails and messages from people that they tagged their listing in their Posh story and it's sold. So I think that's pretty cool. So I think, let us know, tag your listings. Let us know if your item's sold.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. So
there's more to come, but we'll
keep it.
We'll keep it beneath the covers for a little bit longer, but yes, there's
so
more to go.
So many surprises coming your way.
Yeah, much more to come on stories. Yeah.
Awesome. So that's the bulk of our conversation today, but we have one more sneak peek, very exciting for all of you, that we wanted to be able to share during this AppChat conversation. So Vanessa and Annisah, maybe you could each share one of the 2-part sneak peek.
Cool. Yeah, I'll go first. So drum roll, do we have drum roll? So we are launching packing slips. I don't know if this has happened to you guys, but it's happened to me as a buyer where I got an item that was supposed to be sent to someone else. And I know it's a common pain point from you all as you guys are packaging up all your sales. Let's say you have 10, 20 sales a day, you might get things mixed up. So we're launching a packing slip to really help you in packing, right? It'll show the items that are supposed to be sent to this particular person. So it ensures the right item goes to the right person. And again, this has been a top request for years. And thank you, Tresha and design team, for making this happen. Super excited, and hope you guys are all too.
Yay! And part 2 goes very nicely.
Yes, so bulk printing is it's basically what it sounds like. You'll be able to print multiple shipping labels at once. So similar to what Vanessa said, if you're shipping 50 sales and you want to print all those labels at one time, you can, and it will let you kind of streamline your whole shipping process, which is really exciting.
That's huge.
I want to add to that one because I think there's a separate request that's buried in that feature. So to be able to do bulk printing, you need to be able to filter your My Sales. So we're adding filters to My Sales so you can easily see which items have not been shipped, which ones are tracked. So you can quickly filter My Sales, which I know has been a long-standing request I've heard. So very exciting.
So all of these
are so excited, by the way.
Yay.
Lots of cheering, lots of yays. What a fun surprise. They're loving it. I'm so glad.
Yeah, so all of these are really built to make your lives easier. So hope you guys feel that way. We have a lot of fun building these things.
Yay. So that concludes our app chat. Thank you so much, Annisah, John, Vanessa. Little fun fact, John is on vacation right now and took the time out of his day. So again, John, thank you. He was scuba diving earlier. So major shout out. We really appreciate all of your time. And thank you to our amazing Poshmark community for joining us. Everything we do is for you guys. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Happy Poshing, guys. Bye.
Bye.